Okay, welcome to Crushing Brevard. Today we have Shea Steininger. Did I say that right?
Steininger, yes.
Steininger. All right, good. No, we have a series of incredibly difficult last names for people here.
That's great.
But thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. Shea has got a lot of stuff going on, and your husband's got some stuff going on. We just wanted to talk to you a little bit about all the things you're working on and how you do our normal deal about how you ended up here in Melbourne and what you like about it, and what you like to do, and what be your free time. Although from what I've talked to you 30 seconds, I don't think you have any. But anyway, yeah, so Shea, why don't you just give us a little background on yourself?
Well, great. Thank you so much for having me
Of course.
today. So yeah, my name is Shea Steininger. I was born and grew up in Florida my whole entire life, so I'm a true Floridian. Grew up kind of just in nature on the St. Johns River. It's my favorite place. Sailing. I went to art school my whole life, pretty much in my adolescence, so I'm that art school kid. Super creative, so creativity has just been my whole thing my whole life. So and then I went to the University of Florida. I got my degree in advertising at the School of Journalism there, so go Gators.
There you go.
And
Got to represent. Everybody
yeah.
can represent. Yep.
That's right. And then I graduated from the University of Florida, met my husband, and that's what brought me down here to Brevard County.
Okay, so he's a Melbourneite.
He's a Melbourne native.
Okay.
Yep. He went to Satellite High School.
Oh wow. Okay.
And,
Yeah. Very
I
local
guess
then.
Stingham Scorps. I don't know. That's what they say.
No, I saw the Satellite Beach Scorpions. I'm like, that's really cool. I
Yeah.
like that. But okay,
Yes. So he was a big soccer player, and he became a physical therapist, and he owns a local company here, Body FX Melbourne,
Okay.
here in Brevard County. Excellent, wonderful physical therapist. They do sports recovery and things like that. And then I fell in love with Brevard County. It's a great place to raise a family. So we have 2 little ones.
Oh, nice. Like define little.
So my son, he's 5 years old. His
Okay.
name is Keegan.
All right.
My daughter is 3. She's about to be 4. Her name is Kyla.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got problems.
They're close in age. They're each other's best friends, but also each other's worst enemies.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's wow. Okay. Yeah. Mine are 26, 24, and 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's
All close in age.
trust me. You just want to. They're fun at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wow, 5 and 3. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so we can just skip the free time discussion at the end, I think. All right, good.
No free time.
So, yeah, not for about another 15 years. So you do a couple of different things, right? We talked about a little bit before this. You do yoga and you do graphic design. So which one we talk about first?
Yeah, okay. So my number one job obviously is being a mom to my 2 little ones. My favorite job too. And then I own my own company. I'm a CEO, president, founder of SC Design and Company. So it's Space Coast Design, SC Design for short.
Nice.
Yep. And we're a graphic design agency that specializes in corporate branding, marketing solutions, strategic communications. So we like to work in a lot of corporate headquarters, just assisting and consulting on any sort of thing like branding, graphic design, anything that they do with any outside agencies.
Okay, so coming up with logos and marketing campaign type of things? Okay.
Exactly. Creating
Nice.
brand guidelines, working directly with the CEO, their admins, making sure that they have all the materials that they need for board of directors meetings or any meetings that they may be going to.
Do you have any industries you kind of specialize in, or does it really not matter?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the graphic design world, so you'll forgive me. But
a great question, and thank you for asking that. But yes, we specialize in the aerospace defense technology sector. So
that's a good one to specialize in around here. So that's good. Yeah.
In the Space Coast,
Yeah.
right? So yes, our main client is L3 Harris Technologies. We've loved working with them for many, many years now.
Yep, they are. I'm a big fan of them too, because they come in and rent out the back room all the time.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah. So
That's another reason why I've been here is for
have you?
L3
Okay,
Harris
nice.
event. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, they've been a spectacular client to have. And we worked directly with them during their integration when they were Harris and L3 Technologies merged in 2019. So we were on the ground floor with the integration team, just making sure that all the branding, all the graphic design was coming together and cohesive across all the segments.
Nice. So you're not working. You didn't work with like little mom and pop places. You just kind of went, okay, nice, very good. No, I was just curious. You know, if you did if you had 800 little places, or we had a guy on who has his own clothing line, Countdown County, and I'm like, do you work with him? You know, like love that level of thing. But no, this L3 Harris is huge. All right.
Yeah. So that's our largest client. Well, we do have a lot of local clients.
Yeah.
So I'll do things for some local churches, Body FX Melbourne.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'll do stuff with Atlantic Mortgage. We like to service local Space Coast companies as well as our large scale corporate companies
that have a presence here.
Right. Our corporate headquarters is L3 Harris's corporate headquarters is here in Brevard County, so we like to service them as well.
So you're gonna help out anybody that calls that has a project, big or small, right?
Yes, we're happy to.
Awesome. All right. So graphic design, and that follows through with your creativity and your degree and all that fun. So that's good. That's new. I have an electrical engineering degree and I run a restaurant. So
I'm telling you, I went to art school my whole life, and everybody told me you'll never make money at art. Well, I found a way to make money at art.
There you go. You're like a unicorn.
That's right. I'm one of those.
Nice. All right. So well, we can talk more about that later too. But and then yoga too. You teach yoga?
So I'm a yoga instructor. Okay. I got certified at the Yoga Garden here in Ogallie, Florida. And it was a fabulous, fabulous course that I took. My husband, being a physical therapist, literally watched me doing the courses, and he's like, you picked a great course. Okay. He said some of those things that we learned, he didn't learn until his third year of PT school. So it was fun to become a yoga instructor and have my husband by my side. Yeah. As a physical therapist, because I could ask him any and every question.
Does this really work? And is this really a good thing to do? Yeah, sure.
So, and I still do it. Every class I teach, I'm like, hey, I taught this, but is there a way to say this in a better way? Like, what would you recommend? But I really enjoy teaching yoga. Yoga's been a big part of my life.
So what do you see for your clientele in yoga? Is it a lot of people who are, I don't know, I don't want to say older, because it could be anything to people depending on how old you are. But, like say I'm 54, right? So do you see a lot of people at that age that are like, man, I'm losing my flexibility and I want to come in and learn that? Or do you get like all these, Mr. Stretch Armstrong that can just bend over sideways and just wants to show off in class? Or what kind of stuff do you get there?
So we actually have a wide range of age groups and genders in our classes, and it's really fascinating to actually see those students who are, maybe they are a little tighter in their hamstrings, or maybe they're just kind of working into their flexibility. And those are sometimes actually the most mindful students, when they're actually just trying to work into their flexibility. Sure. You don't have to be flexible to do yoga at all. In fact, it's safer if you're not. Okay.
I'd be the safest yoga student in history.
Yeah. And the majority, to answer your question too, the majority of my students are actually 50 plus. Okay. Yeah, because I teach them more like methodical, slow. It's kind of like a mix between hatha and vinyasa yoga. So we do kind of more slow movements. They are a little bit more challenging to hold a yoga pose for a longer period of time, but you actually learn how to go into that pose mindfully with more integrity, and it actually comes out better for you in the long run.
Okay. And so the classes that you teach, are there like, I don't know, like, karate has levels, right? Are there levels of, like, you talk to somebody and you're like, oh, you need to be in this class, and so everybody's roughly the same. Is that a thing or no? I'm curious.
There are different levels of yoga. Okay. So there's like beginner yoga, and then there's kind of just yoga, and then there's advanced yoga, I would say. But I teach an all levels class. So when I go into a pose, I'll say, we're going to go into side plank. Move your right leg up for like a kickstand, for example. But if you'd like to go into full side plank, or that's in your practice, feel free to do so. Okay. So I give them options as far as like, this is where we start, and then if you'd like to go further, or it's in your practice, you can go further. You can go into wild thing from side plank if it's in your practice. It's your practice. Okay. You get to choose.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go down to the beach and do that? I mean, so it's like, I'm still this cliche, I understand, but I mean, it's right there. So.
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, I really strongly thought about that before I became a yoga instructor. I did it one time, and let me tell you, sand and yoga do not mix so well.
oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but it is beautiful out there. I go out there by myself and do that, but it's kind of hard when we got our yoga mat set up. people get sandy, as long as they don't mind getting sandy. It's fun.
Okay.
But yeah,
there's a guy on the corner over here. I don't know if you've ever come across the bridge, and you make that left to come up this road here, New Haven, and there's a guy. I don't know if he's doing Tai Chi or if he's doing yoga poses or what, but it's just kind of, he's all by himself, and I'm like, dude, you got to get some friends and teach him how to do this stuff. So, if you want to do a social thing, this is. So, how would they get a hold of you to schedule? Well, why don't we go back to the graphic design first? So, what's the best way to get a hold of you in case they want to get your services there?
Right. So I have a website. It's Shea, SHEAC, as in cat, design.com. Okay. So they can reach out to me through my website. Okay. I also have a LinkedIn page, Facebook page, Instagram page.
Okay. They can just look up. They can probably get that from the website too. So
correct.
Yeah,
perfect.
Down there.
Yeah. Link in the description. We always, sorry, I point at the floor. No one can see me, so it's weird. And then, so for the yoga thing, how would they get a hold of you for that?
Yeah, so yoga, right now I'm teaching at Yoga Garden Sunday mornings at 8 a.m.
Okay.
I teach a morning flow class. So that is just sign up on the Yoga Garden website. So just Google Yoga Garden, you'll find it, and sign up through the schedule there. I'm also starting to teach a class at Body FX Melbourne here in Melbourne, Florida. It's over by Crunch Fitness off of New Haven on Friday nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does your husband, does he cook the kids the same thing every Sunday morning for breakfast, or is it? I mean, I'm speaking from experience here, so I'm not making fun of him at all, but I developed pancakes. I could do pancakes really well, and I made them every week. Yeah. For 3 years. My kids had pancakes on Saturday mornings. So yeah.
My husband's an excellent, wonderful cook.
Is he?
He is an amazing cook. So yes, I think he does cereal. He's not a breakfast person, so he does cereal in the morning. But when it comes to dinners, he's phenomenal. I prefer him to cook because he does all the seasonings right, all the meat correctly, cooks it correctly.
I might have to give him a call here. We can, we got to spot him if he wants to, moonlight over here a little bit. We could.
Yeah. I'm the breakfast cook. I love to make breakfast. That's my thing. So I usually do the pancakes. But yeah, he probably just does cereal in the morning.
Cereal's not bad. You're a mom of 2 little kids. As long as they're alive when you get home, everything went fine.
Yes.
Yeah. We would tell our babysitters, we'd be like, listen, as long as they're breathing, you did great.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Exactly.
So your husband, you said he's in physical therapy. He owns a clinic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Is he a physician?
He is a physical therapist.
Okay.
And he has a business partner. Her name is Courtney.
Right.
So Brett and Courtney, they own Body FX in Melbourne, and they specialize in sports recovery, physical therapy. So they do assisted stretching. They have cold plunges. They have infrared saunas.
Okay.
So they do that contrast therapy, and then they do Graston. They do the compression boots as well. So they do pretty much anything. VO2 max testing. Of course, they could speak more to that.
Means.
Me neither. That's as far as I go. But I just know because I've designed their brochures and all that. I know what to list out. But,
there you go.
But they would know more about all of those things and the science behind them, and it's fascinating. And I love hearing them talk about it. But I can't relay that information myself.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I wouldn't expect that. That would be weird if you could.
I know. I can't do everything.
When I lived in Minnesota, there was an orthopedic surgeon or orthopedic doctor and all these physical therapy places that were by all the big high schools, which terrified me because that meant there's probably all these kids that are getting hurt. But it also kind of helps that if you're in a middle age and you have kids in the high school, you're driving to that high school every day, you see that and you're like, oh, that's where I'll go if I need something. Does he see kind of, since it's sports medicine, is it high school kids and then younger people and then their parents type of thing? Or,
He sees anyone and everyone.
Okay.
He is a retired soccer player, I guess, or he doesn't do soccer anymore. He's really big into golf, very sporty. So yes, they do specialize in sports recovery. They are partners with a CrossFit gym as well. So they have a lot of CrossFit folks that come over, anyone in the fitness industry. But any and all age ranges. They don't take insurance. They're cash based only, which is good.
Yeah, no, that actually simplifies things a lot.
Yeah, a lot for a lot of people too.
Well, so many people walk into any kind of medical situation and they're like, I have no idea what I'm going to pay for what I'm about to do.
Right.
And it's nice to have one of them where you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to pay that. All right, now I know. So that's good.
They do take HSA, I think is what it's called. The
health savings
accounts.
Yep.
Yes, they do take those and whatnot. But
so people can use the money pre-tax if you don't know what an HSA is, yeah, you can put money aside pre-tax and you can use it on your medical stuff and you don't have to pay taxes. So that's really cool. So let's say you did have, or you have a date night with your husband or something. So what do you like to do? Where do you play golf? I mean, you said he's a big golfer. So do you play?
So I do not. I'm interested in learning how to play.
Okay.
My husband is a lefty, so I'm hoping that
not another one.
I know. I'm hoping that if he teaches me how to golf, I can just mirror him.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I mean, you can look at a golf swing and be like, okay, you're doing 12 things wrong.
Yeah.
And then, then you'll talk about it and then you'll hate him and then you'll never golf again. It'd be perfect. I know how this works. So I've seen.
I like to ride along in the golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
We went out to Cocoa Beach Country Club last weekend and the scenery is just gorgeous. Yeah. But I like to drive the golf cart and, I tried to swing a club while I was out there. It didn't go well. Oh. But I'm willing to try it again.
Yeah. The first 1,000 times you try it, that's why they have cigars and beer. Yeah. You got a date night with your husband. What do you like to do?
So we actually,
besides go to Crush 11. I mean, it's a fantastic place.
This is the place to go for dinner. Brunch, lunch, dinner, everywhere. Yes, this is a great place to come actually. And we have come here on a few date nights and really enjoyed ourselves. We are big antique shoppers.
Oh, nice.
So we actually like to go around to a lot of antique shops. That's actually how when we first started dating, that's how we first kicked off our dating scene is we went to a lot of art fairs, antique shops. And so that's kind of our thing that we like to do together. And he's not a big movie person, so we don't go to the movies or anything cliche like that, but we do like to get a good meal and then go some antique shopping.
Nice. Do you buy things or are you just looking?
We do. We buy several things.
Oh, no.
Probably, I would say, 80% of the things in our house are probably antique shopped.
Oh, nice.
So,
all right. Well, it's good that you get stuff you can do together and you're both like spending the money at the same time. So no one's like,
right.
Where'd that come from?
It's the one thing that I can buy that he doesn't question me. It's the one thing he can buy. I don't question him. So.
Okay. Nice.
You're just beautifying your home.
Yeah. Cool. It is. It's fun. We do that a lot. We've also been renovating our house probably since we've been married.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we just go one room at a time.
That never ends. You just cycle back around. You're like, oh, we haven't touched that one in 7 years. I'm like, we did that one.
Home ownership here in Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
It's worth it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yes.
So your kids are getting ready to start school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my son.
How are you doing with that?
My son is going into kindergarten, and it is probably the most mentally draining thing I think I've ever. I wasn't prepared for it as a mom. I think. Well, first going into school in general is just difficult.
No, he's going to be going to kindergarten in September or August or September.
In August,
okay.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, we got to get him off on the right path. We got to send him to the right school.
Got to get his shots. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. He's going to work with him to blah, blah, blah before he gets there. So he's ahead of all the other kids.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And going to school right now is kind of a scary thing for parents.
Okay.
Just something with the way the world's going on right now. So it's just we want to find him the right school and the best place to go. So we're actually doing a really nice hybrid program where he's going to be homeschooled just Mondays and Fridays.
Okay.
And then he's going to go to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So he gets to go and be part of that environment and make friends.
Socialization, learns that stuff.
Sure, yeah. And then we'll get to do field trips and we'll get to go learn in nature. We'll get to go learn together at the beach about something, and he'll be able to grasp that concept quickly and probably remember it for longer than he would if he was just reading it in textbook. So we're really excited about that, and I'm going to do the same thing with my daughter as well.
I have a nephew who is homeschooled, and I always was worried about the socialization until I found out what my sister-in-law was doing, which is like, she's in this group and they've got a program, so they're all learning the same stuff and they're learning the right stuff, and then they have people they can go talk to and do events with, and that's awesome. They have the hybrid thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that new or?
So homeschooling back in the day, there probably was definitely a socialization concern. Excuse me. But I'm
an old man. I have a lot of concerns about things that aren't, the way they should be. So.
Same. So back in the day, I would say like years and years ago, it probably was something where socialization was a concern. But now, homeschooling is so much more common than it used to be.
Absolutely.
So there's so many co-ops now, so many mom groups, dad groups, field trip groups. Facebook has also been a wonderful outlet for that, where you can kind of just meet up with other homeschool parents, get your kids together. And there's all these homeschool conventions you can go to learn about like the best curriculums to teach your child and how to get out in nature and whatnot.
It's crazy how much stuff and with anything almost, but like especially education.
Yeah.
Like you can just spend years trying to figure out like all the different options and all this stuff. So like that's kind of gets back to your point where you're a little bit overwhelmed right now and you're like, I wonder if doing the right thing or not, or I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It's like, if you can have more kids, it's okay. You screw up the first one, it's all right. It's,
that's what I mean. He's going into kindergarten and he's my first child. So I was like, okay, how do we do this? So I'm kind of learning as you go. With my second, at least I'll maybe know a little bit more.
Yeah. But, the good news is by the third one, you're like, whatever.
I feel like having the second child was just a game changer for us. Okay. We had my first child. I stayed home with him the first year that he was born, and he was a wonder. It was probably the best year of my life, but having that second child, you kind of learn that you can't helicopter parent that one child anymore. You have two kids, and so you can't constantly watch this one while you're watching this one. Right. So it was a great learning experience having that second child, because it made me calm down as a mom. Okay. And she's my wild child, so I kind of just let her go. And she's my creative child, the one that wants to always paint or do something with drawing. She's the one coloring on the walls. My son is very methodical, the engineer type, who really he does 100-piece puzzles by himself, like wants to do them by himself, piece them all together, and then do them again. So yesterday he had like 5 puzzles out on the table, and it was great just to watch him do everything by himself.
You have an HSA account, you can go get magic erasers from Walgreens, apparently. So. You're probably familiar with the magic eraser by this point.
We have lots of magic erasers in our house. We need them.
Those things are amazing, by the way. I love them. Yeah. Anything else you like to do besides the? Well, I was going to ask. So, is your husband? He's fairly athletic, apparently, since he does the. Is he like looking forward to coaching? Yes. Is he really? Has he talked about that at all, or has it been t-ball? Where are we at with sports and the kids?
Yeah, he's already actually taught. I'm sorry, not taught, but coached my son's soccer team. Okay. So he did that a few years ago.
He's still sane?
He is.
4-year-old soccer.
He did great.
Like a ball and then just a pack of children.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
not much organization.
They were undefeated.
Nice.
I'm just saying.
Nice.
The 4-year-olds, they were undefeated.
They kept score?
Yeah, they did.
Wow, that's heartening. Actually, that's good. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so he's already dove into that, and he's the coach.
He is.
Nice.
I am, like I said, I went to art school my whole life. Yep. Couldn't tell you anything about sports.
You're cutting up orange slices, right? Okay.
I'm bringing the lavender scented towels and the orange slices for the kids.
We won the World Series in 2000. She glazes over like, okay, I'm bored.
I don't care.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have this misconception that you have to be flexible to do yoga, that you have to have done yoga for many, many years, but it's actually something that I strongly encourage anyone and everyone to do, as far as just getting regular movement in their life, just consistent movement, whether it's very basic yoga or very gentle yoga, for example. Restorative yoga is also a very great option if you're newer to yoga. It's important to honestly train our nervous system as human beings to go into this parasympathetic nervous system state. We are so conditioned as a culture to go, and constantly do to be considered successful in this world, but we have to balance that with yoga, for example, and I think that's a great outlet for me, for somebody who constantly I work in the corporate world, I am a mom, and I'm constantly doing something. I have to balance that with yoga. So what I do is I actually do a lot of restorative yoga, and that helps me to train my nervous system to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system state, which what that is that calming presence within your body, working on breath work. So instead of being in fight or flight, which is your sympathetic nervous system, which we're constantly in fight or flight as human beings, just because of the culture that we're in, turning on that parasympathetic nervous system is so important for your mental health, your mental clarity, your stress levels, and you can actually train your body to work on breath work even if you're about to go into a meeting or you're about to go into an event or something that you maybe might be nervous about, to maybe just start working on your breath work to maybe turn on that parasympathetic nervous system state. So that's one reason why I would highly recommend it. Another thing too is just movement in general. So if you're not moving, you're like, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. So a lot of people who have these injuries, not that I would say if you're injured, do yoga, but I would say that if you're not constantly moving your joints, you're gonna lose that joint mobility. And if you're not like mindfully moving it, right? And if you're not getting what's called synovial fluid going in your joints regularly, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna like, your joints are going to suffer, and then also the bone density.
When people get older, their bones get fragile.
The more you impact your bones, not like intense impact, but the more you kind of regularly impact them, the more bone density you gain, and that I can talk about that for hours and hours. So I can nerd out about yoga forever, but those are some of the main things. And I would say don't be fearful of doing yoga if you've never done yoga before. Just there's no shame in going in child's pose. And what that is kind of just a very basic sitting your tailbone back, knees wide on the mat, sitting your tailbone back, and your forehead just meets the mat, arms go long. So never have any shame going in a child's pose, no matter what pose the yoga teacher is cueing. There's a lot of times where people go into these intricate yoga poses, maybe when their body's not calling for it, and it's kind of just an ego thing, and all of us have it, you know, so it's just about turning off that ego, letting your body tell you what it needs in that moment, and that's yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's good.
So if you want to do yoga, I highly recommend going to Yoga Garden and trying out any of their yoga classes. All their yoga teachers are phenomenal. If you want to check out my class, Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. For my husband's clinic, I would love to have him obviously on this podcast to speak more
we
to
could have him. That'd be good. Yeah.
Him and his business partner would be phenomenal. But I would say for his business, I would highly recommend anyone and everyone who wants to get more, I guess, mobility in their, whether they're doing regular sports or they're working out or they're trying to get in shape, or if they have any sort of injuries. He's absolutely amazing. If I wake up and I suffer from migraines, my neck locks up sometimes, my back locks up, and I guess that's just age, but
you don't know age, but keep going anyway.
I don't know.
That's cute.
I know. But he literally will just, it's amazing. Like he does, cupping therapy, the Grasson technique, all that stuff. So it's been really useful. Cold plunging, I love doing cold plunging, and then the sauna as well. So if you're interested in contrast therapy, the cold plunge goes down to 53 degrees. I think a little, maybe down to 50. I've been in there when it's 50 degrees, and it is amazing. It's wonderful. It's another thing to kind of train your nervous system and everything. But you kind of do contrast therapy between the cold plunge and the sauna. It's very popular right now. So I would say, any and all age ranges, anyone who's maybe recovering from any injuries or trying to avoid surgeries, or maybe just trying to work on sports recovery or sports in general. Yep. And their website is bodyfxfl.com.
All right, so Florida. Yep, there we go. Perfect. All right. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much Shea for being here today. We appreciate it. Learned a lot, and turns out I could do yoga, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Right, use the hot cold therapy.
I could,
I think I need all these things.
You need a pretty big tub. So anyway,
except the two little children.
Exactly. You're on your own.
They have 3 tubs, and they have an extra large one, which is for the really tall folks. So
yeah. Well, anyway, we'll see about that. All right.
Well, Shea, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
It was
this
a pleasure
was great
as well. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.